Uh, well, I know there'll be a lot of questions on the run defense and all that. Question I've got is you guys have always valued depth, rotation, keeping guys fresh. At what point, though, do maybe you lose something because your best players are best players for a reason, and sometimes the deeper you go into your depth, the less effective. Is there something to that or not?
It is. It's like, we're trying to build a philosophy where we can roll, like I've told you before. We got 4 and 4. Let's roll them and let's keep everybody fresh. And there's a point where you're saying, hey, we got to develop guys. There could be injuries. Make sure they step in. Everybody has trust in them, and we keep rolling. But I also agree with you that when it's a critical time, you want your best players in there. And I think that's a big part of it. I mean, every play is critical. You're trying to keep fresh, but when it is those critical times, you want guys fresh so that they can play at their highest level. Example might be 2 minute at the end of the game. You need to go in there and get a stop in a 2-minute situation. Make sure your D-line is fresh enough that you can get the rush that's needed. So I think it's a great question. It's one that we're toying with. I can tell you this out of experience. I was at the Chargers, and my first time kind of going through it where you're rotating players, Joey Bosa was standing next to me. And I looked at him and I was like, what are you doing standing next to me? But that's kind of the philosophy now, is to keep guys fresh, play, get a lot of guys reps, for the long-term picture of it too. But in those critical situations, make sure your guys that are performing and you're counting on are in.
Thanks, guys.
We'll go to Jake.
Hey, Gus. So the Week 18 game last year, it looks like there was a couple times where maybe miscommunication led to some big plays for Houston. Did you feel better about where guys were, being at the right place in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any secret. We went into it thinking, we've got to do a much better job. We cannot let him have 360 yards passing, 80% completion. We have to affect him. And that was kind of the mindset, now would he have like 20 yards passing, that part of it, the 4 quarterback sacks, the 10 quarterback, 6 hits and 8 hurries, that part I thought was pretty good. I thought in the back end, for the most part, it was very clean. We had limited busts in the back end, and the times we wanted to double, we doubled. So I thought that was pretty clean. I wish we had more PBUs, or opportunities to get pick interceptions. We missed some opportunities to get some interceptions where we can be aggressive in some of those situations. But overall, that part, I mean, you always want to be better, but I thought compared to where we were last year, or even the first game last year, was much improved.
James?
Gus, in regards to the run defense, why do you think they were so effective to getting to that second level to that front seven?
Yeah, I think again, a little bit of it was philosophy. We knew that Julian was going to be around the ball a lot, going into the game. Some of the coverage aspects that we were doing, you try to put pressure on your best guys up front, our best guys. So some of the run principles that we employed was, that they may get 3 or 4 here. And you know what? But with the coverage principles we're using, our guys got to step up front and make the play, or, defend it, the run with 6 guys in the box. So, that happened. I think what was disappointing, obviously, the number of yards rushing is disappointing. But even in the fourth quarter, when we need to get a stop in the run, and get the ball back to offense, it was really the exact same situation as the playoff game, where we need to go out there in a 4-minute situation, get a stop, run the ball, get the ball back to offense, give us a chance to win. And in the playoff game, or the last game last season, the offense had the ball to go down. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. This year, we didn't get a stop there. And I think they had like 80 yards rushing in the fourth quarter. It switched to where if you'd have told me before the game they're going to have 35 carries in the game running the ball, they did a good job. I would not have thought that. Now, the time of possession was 40 minutes to 20 minutes. So when you have that many, plays, 80 plays, to run the ball that many times could happen. But I think for us, at halftime, they had 70 yards rushing. They gave me the stats, and I was fine with that part of it. with the style that we were playing and how aggressive we were trying to get pressure on the quarterback. But it was the end part that was disappointing where we didn't get some stops when we needed it.
Bob.
Yeah, Gus, you've been in this business a long time. You know how things work when your unit isn't playing up to a certain standard. Do you feel like you're on a hot seat this year, and do you think you should be on a hot seat?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I look at it and go, oh boy, I wonder if I'm on the hot seat. I think you always feel like that. I think you want to do what's best for the fans, the organization, the players, the team. You're just always in that competitive mindset because you're competitive and you're out there trying to put your players with the players that you have in the best position to make plays. And that's really your mindset going into it. So, I know that we have a good defense and I really like our guys. It's a great group, great guys to work with, and they're competitive. And, we just got to play at a higher level. And, to give up that many yards rushing in a game like that, is unacceptable.
Thank you.
Joel.
Gus, Dallas Flowers wasn't active. What went into that decision, and who would have played outside if there'd been an injury?
We talked about what's best. I mean, sometimes those decisions, when you get to the third corner, the fourth corner, sometimes that's special teams value and where he's at there. So, there was some conversation about it, but we just felt that what was best for that game, that particular game, was to go with Sam. And some of it is special teams value.
Nate.
Hey Gus, I know you're locked in when the Colts offense is on the field. You're probably pretty focused on the next series. Do you ever turn around to watch when Anthony is making some of those 60-yard throws? Do you end up seeing it at any point? Like how do you kind of process when he's making some of those plays?
Yeah, you don't catch the whole play. You might be just getting done talking to somebody and you turn around and the ball's in the air. I think I saw that a couple times, and then you see the ball in mid-flight. So I mean, we see it in practice, right? He's got a strong arm and he has the ability to make big plays like that. So it's not surprising. It was great to see. We needed some big plays and we got some.
And just a quick follow-up, is there any defense to call against a guy who can throw 68 yards standing up straight?
Yeah, it's hard, right? Because unless you can get pressure on him, if he's got time back there with his arm strength, those plays can happen. It's similar to what we saw with CJ, right? We knew that he was very athletic and could make plays on the run. I think we had some third and long situations where we brought pressure on him and he escaped it and extended the play. And, when you extend the play or you give those quarterbacks time back there, they have a chance to make really big plays and sometimes at critical times. And that's probably the same with Anthony. He's if he gets his feet underneath him, he can make the big play for you.
We're going to take two more here. We'll go Kevin and then Steven.
Hey, Gus, I've got two. First would be just how much are you preparing for Malik Willis versus Jordan Love?
Well, I mean, right now we're studying Malik, and getting prepared for him, kind of the style when he did play. It's tough, right? Like you don't know exactly, are they going to utilize him, some of his skill set that he had from college, or are they going to, have him be the quarterback and then say, hey, this is our system, let's go operate it. But we may throw a few wrinkles or two in there. So, I think we're looking at him now, just the style of play, the athleticism that he has and the styles of throw that he makes and what he's good at. And then we're getting back to, really the scheme that Green Bay's running.
And then D-line rotation wise, do you guys stick to a set number that you've set on Friday or during the week, or how much of that is just flow of the game?
I think that's, that's kind of I want to say it's our decision, but we do talk about as an organization, hey, for the best part of the team, this guy, we're looking at somewhere between 60 and 70% of the snaps. There's some talk with our strength and conditioning staff, because they're on the performance part of it, what's best for now and what's best for long term. So there's multiple conversations go into that. And then, we all agree to it. And then, we try to live by it. And then there's those critical times like that, like we said, where maybe some of those things get trumped. But I think everybody in our building would agree that in those critical times, we got to get our best guys in there.
Last one, Steven.
Hey, Gus. In the context of the conversation about the run defense, you do see Josh Jacobs this weekend. And I know there may be compromised at quarterback, but I mean, he's a guy who can be explosive and he's tough physically. What are the things specifically that you have to do against him that maybe you didn't accomplish in week 1, do you think?
Right. Well, I mean, a little bit, I would say last week, a little bit was almost a mentality of, defend the run on the way to the quarterback. It was a little bit of that mentality just because we knew we had to affect him so much.
Okay.
And this week, you still got to affect the quarterback, but, we just had 250 yards rushing or 230, whatever it was. We got to get back. We know that we can defend the run when we do things properly. And we missed some tackles in the last quarter that need to be made. And so we got to do a better job of tackling, better job of edge setting. And you're right. We were with Josh at Vegas, and he's a really, really talented back and runs the outside zone and inside zone very well. And, they're a committed run team. They want to run the ball and they have play action off of it, but we got to be at our best in terms of run game, and we got to get this corrected, and we will.
Thanks.